All right, buddy. This is where you find out about the CureTeam. See, I got my eye cured herpes baseball cap right here. It even has the tally. You see that down there? People get really up close to me. They can see how many cures we got. Not all those cures are for herpes. You know, some of them are cancer and fibromyalgia and chronic fatigue and Graves' disease. I was listening to a woman cure Graves' disease on the Cure Show years ago. You know, it was really awesome. You know, just she was super. You know, we've got some really great people who've come through here and have cured like things and been recorded. You know, so that's what the Cure Drive is about. Now, the CureTeam we are a group of people who is a very small group, kind of, you know, people, it's small enough so that everybody can know everybody and be in touch with everybody and have some kind of personal relationship and follow each other's progress. And the basic agreements for being on the CureTeam are really totally simple and really very, very easy to complete. You have to have 200 Facebook friends, and you post 2 movies a day to your Facebook wall, and then you share them with everybody. You know, with everybody meaning not just your Facebook friends, but friends of friends and friends of friends of friends. Now that won't go to those people unless other people, you know, click on them, but then other people will be able to see them. So that's what we're doing. We're a public movement. The CureTeam is a public movement for cure. But that, you know, sharing a movie takes like 5 seconds. So of course then, you know, see, you don't have to watch it and you don't have to write anything on it. That is not part of the agreement. Obviously, it's good for you to watch these movies. And one thing that we learn from watching people do this stuff, you know, as we go along in this CureTeam thing, we've been watching people do this stuff, and we're learning that a lot of people drop out curing things for days or hours at a time, and then they relapse. You know, they fall back into the disease. This is especially true with diseases like herpes and fibromyalgia and cancer. There are certain things that when you cure them, they are gone. For example, specific trauma, you know, emotional trauma. I don't know if I've ever had an emotional trauma come back after I removed it. But of course, removing it is a clearly defined methodology and procedure. There is a clearly defined methodology and procedure for removing a single emotional trauma so that it really is gone. Whereas with things like these physical diseases, the diseases have so many multiple causes and factors and cofactors and ancillary causes and contributing factors and all of these various things that can tend to just pull the disease back together after you break it up, that you have to keep the disease cured for a long time in order to have it actually be gone. And you can even get a negative medical test, which people get negative medical tests on these. A lot of people don't even know that we get negative medical tests on these diseases, but we do. Of course, you know, if you cure something, you will test negative for it in a doctor's test. But the problem is you may still have it when you get your negative medical test. It is possible. It is actually possible that we can really fool ourselves into thinking we are curing things with IMMUNICS. And a lot of people say that to us. They say, you guys are fooling yourselves. They don't know how right they are, because some of us are really, literally are fooling ourselves. And we are not curing the thing. We just, we cured it. It was gone, and we tested that it was gone, but it wasn't gone. How can that be? Well, the more experienced you get with this. See, I actually cured my herpes in 1993, but it took me to 1996. I was still testing that I had it since then. And then, of course, for example, like Barb got a negative medical test and had a herpes outbreak afterwards. And I was thinking, well, maybe she didn't completely cure it, but she did, because she cured her herpes in 1994. It wasn't really very likely that if it stayed out that long, it was going to then come back. It doesn't do that. It dies off, No, she went and got it again. But the point was that she wasn't immune enough. Like, she wasn't continuing to do this enough so that she wouldn't recontract it if she had sex with somebody who was infected. And so she just realized, I guess, that she had to do more IMMUNICS. And I mean, I have a lot of stories like that I can tell you, Anyway, I'm not going to try to do that right now in a 20-minute movie. That's all I have to talk is 20 minutes. So what is the CureTeam? Okay, what's the CureTeam all about? So we have this very minimal agreement. You get 200 friends, and then you're eligible to be on the CureTeam. You can't be on the CureTeam unless you have 200 friends. It's a requirement. And you then, you post 2 movies a day, and you do that for a couple of weeks. And if we watch that and we see you're doing that, we realize that you actually want to be on the CureTeam, and at that point you can have your interview. Now, we do have a pre-interview. A lot of people need to have a pre-interview because they just have to, they need our help getting set up. So that's really what the pre-interview is. We help people set up like their Facebook page, or give them some pointers about friending people, because there are right ways and wrong ways to friend people on Facebook. That's the truth. I mean, you want good Facebook friends, not just Facebook friends. So there's and then there's sharing too. And people, sometimes it just helps for people to talk to somebody. So we like to have everybody have a pre-interview, which sometimes is a short conversation with one of the CureTeam governors, and sometimes it's meeting with more than one of them, and so on. Depends on the person and their individual needs and what they want and what we want and so on. But the vision of the CureTeam, see, we keep friending people. The vision of the CureTeam is we all have 5,000 Facebook friends. I'm up to about 700 right now. And that we talk to people and we interact with people about curing on Facebook, and on any other thing that we want to interact about, emailing all of our friends and getting our, talking to our friends and saying, hey, did you watch that movie that I posted? I wanted you to watch that, and telling our friends that, and so on. A lot of us make our own movies. The way I'm sitting in front of the camera here, well, you'll see movies of other people who are on the CureTeam sitting in front of the camera like this, talking, and they do various things. And so the idea is, why do we need? That's a good question, isn't it? Like, why do we need a community? And see, I didn't know for a very long time. I didn't know that we needed to have a community. In fact, the thing that I loved the most about our web college was, when I first started to create this web college, I had this vision. I said, this is going to be fantastic. Millions of people are going to use this, and they're going to tell everybody they know, and then billions of people are going to use it. It's just going to be, it's going to explode. Like, it's going to be enormous, Because what people want is to do something alone, at home, that they can do by themselves whenever they can just jump on the computer for a few minutes, go into a lesson, do a couple of immunic actions, feel great, fly off, on to the next thing, And that is the vision of the Webb College, and people do that now, but they do it because they're in a community. You need a community. You need people watching you and telling you what your blind spots are. And you need to watch people and tell them what theirs are, because you learn about yourself by doing that. And, this is what people don't realize, that you need to be in this environment. I didn't know it. When I created the Webb College, I didn't know it. I didn't realize that I was surrounded by people who did IMMUNICS all day. Everybody, all my friends, everybody I knew did IMMUNICS all day. When I discovered it, I did it with them. Whenever I was with, that's all I did. When I was with people, that's all I did with them. I just said, oh, test that. I would say, test that. Oh, the thing you just said, test that. The person would just say, like, I just can't get started with this, and I'd say, test that. Can you get started? Well, test, can you get started with this? And they'd test it and get yes, and then they'd get started. But you need that. You need, I had a community. It's why I was able to create a Webb College. Because I had an editor, Keeley, who edited the Webb College, and I had a graphics designer who was a master. Franny and her dad, among other things, designed the Swanson's package. He drew the Dove bar. He drew the dove. So we had a graphics. I had Al Hartman, who was this fantastic computer guy. He has a vision for computers. He's a wonderful, it's like a new age computer vision, And so we could just do this. We could do this, we could do this gigantic, enormous project together, and we did. That's how it happened. So I had a community, but it was because I was living in it. I didn't see it. It was like fish don't know they're in the water. And I didn't realize that you can't cure this, probably, whatever it is you're trying to cure, without being on the CureTeam. It's that simple. So when the CureTeam hits 150, somebody's going to have to start at CureTeam B. This is CureTeam A I'm making this for. And people are going to need to be on CureTeams, because I just watch people fall on their face. They're good at curing things. See, that's the thing. When people start with this, almost no one ever gets a signal when they first start doing this. And it's often true that they start getting a signal when they're with other people who are getting signals, or even sometimes just with a friend who isn't getting signals, but they tell the person, oh, it's supposed to look like this, and that their friend gets one, and they go, oh, wait a minute, and then they start getting it. There's a spark when people interact. But anyway, the thing is that brand new people, generally, that's their issue. So they think, well, if I could just get a signal, I'd cure this. I will cure it. And a lot of times people just say to me, well, just tell me how to cure it. I will cure it if you tell me. No, just tell me how. I'm just going to join the Webb College, because if I'm a member of the Webb College, if I have the information, I will cure it. I will do it, And they don't realize that they just are, the wind blew down the road closed, bridge out sign, and they're headed towards this, this chasm, and they just don't understand. They don't know that. They don't know that they need people all around them to just be looking and laughing. See, the things that kill people are laughable when you're in a group. This thing that's going to cause your cancer to come back in 3 years after you cured it with IMMUNICS and then stopped doing IMMUNICS because you cured your cancer. Why would you need to do IMMUNICS anymore? So of course, you didn't have anything else to cure. You had no other problems, just the cancer. That was it. You had nothing else wrong with you, right? You don't have anything wrong with you, right? You're fine. You don't need anything, right? You just have this one thing, the herpes, you know. That if you can get rid of that, your life will be great. It was great before, you know. It'll be great again. I'm just dying here, you know, because of course when you're in a group, everybody else but you sees right through that. You know, they all see what's wrong with you. You just don't. Like all those friends that you all get together on Thursday night. You always have dinner with the same friends on Thursday night. They all see what's wrong with you. You just don't see it, you know. They know why you haven't been in a committed relationship in 5 years. You know, they know you don't. That's the way. That's life in the big city. So that's why we need a cure team. You know, because and our commitment to the cure team that we make. This is not an agreement. It's a commitment. You know, it's not like a requirement, like we don't throw you off the cure team if you don't do this, but your commitment is to cure all the things, to cure all your dysfunctions, so that we have a cure team made up of completely functioning members. And your further commitment is to make sure that all the other members of the cure team do that, and you don't let them get away with anything. They all get to do it too, see? So that's your commitment, and that's what we're all supposed to be doing with each other. But that doesn't mean we kick you out if we find out that you didn't point something out to somebody that was wrong with them or something, okay? Don't get the wrong idea here. I'm just dying laughing with this stuff, you know? It really is too funny to me. Anyway, there's a lot of love there. You know, we have fun, you know, we enjoy each other's company, and you know, we meet, you know, a lot of us have all these informal meetings, you know, people get together for this and that, or they call another cure team member, you know, there's just this community of people around you, you know, and then we have a prayer meeting on Monday night for everybody in the world, and also we allow anybody to come to our cure team meetings. That may change at some point, but for right now, you know, when you come to the cure team meeting, bring a friend if you want, you know, who doesn't know anything about the cure team. That's fine. You know, we haven't had any problem with that. And if we do, Al has he has a mouse on his computer, you know. He can just click the delete button and you're gone. You know, if you cause us any problems, boop, 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 you know. We don't tolerate no riffraff in these meetings. I'm telling you, boy, I really have enjoyed, I have to say that personally, you know, for me, I have really enjoyed having a cure team. These are great people, you know, they're just, and they've been really helpful to me, helpful to each other. I learn from them. I have learned I've only had the cure team for 2 months, and my learning curve has just skyrocketed about what needs to be done, about who we need to be, about what abilities we need to develop, and what skills we need to develop, and what things in the web college people typically need to work on or have pointed out to them or whatever, you know? I've just learned so much about, you know, people curing things. Stuff that we didn't know before, you know? This isn't just a matter of curing things. It's a matter of keeping them cured and never getting sick again with anything. Not emotionally, not spiritually, not physically. You know, we need to be well, because then we are the gift to the world, to humanity. When you are well, you are a gift to everybody around you. And when you are operating from dysfunction, you are drifting along, staying sick, making everybody around you sick, and keeping them sick, and giving them permission to stay sick, and everything, whatever, all the stuff. And this is why we have war, pollution, global warming. Everything can be traced back to people. Unless, of course, this is just, you know, the next ice age or whatever. It's nobody's, you know, it was a sunspot. It's nobody's fault, you know. That's possible. That's what addicts like to think, you know. So join the Cure Team. I recommend it. Meet the requirements and get going. See you later. And that is our movie. Now I just want to say that if you want to speak to somebody, I would be available.